Well, it's out. Did you get your bottle yet? I'm talking about DIOR SAUVAGE PARFUM, the pure perfume edition of the very, very popular DIOR SAUVAGE. Maybe you should watch this review before you rush out to get your bottle. I'm going to tell you all about DIOR SAUVAGE PARFUM, the 2019 release that just came out. So if you want to find out about this fragrance, please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time tuning into my channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and of course participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Well, as I said, it's out. And finally you can go ahead and pick up a bottle, and I've got this myself. I picked it up at the airport when I was coming back from Spain, and I've been testing it here quite frequently, sleeping with it, wearing it during the day, here and there, and I'm testing it against the EDP de Parfum, which came out last year, and of course the EDT, which came out in 2015. I'm going to tell you all about this because I'm not impressed. Sad to say, but this is a 2019 launch. It's the pure perfume edition of the popular Sauvage series of fragrances from Dior, created once again by Francois Demachy. This is considered an Oriental Fougere. To me, it doesn't act like a Fougere, even though there is lavender in the notes. I don't pick up the lavender too much. No, it's pretty much very similar to the other two releases, it's a 100 ml bottle for $150, so the per milliliter price is $1.50. Of course, that price does not include tax, so with tax you're looking at about 1.70 per mil price, because our prices in the States do not include tax. In Europe it's different, they do include tax, but it's getting up there with the price. 100 ml for this is $150. Now I was able to find the EDP 100 ml for $120, and of course they do have a 200 ml of this, which is $170. The EDT is $95 for the 100 ml, and then $145 for the 200 ml. There isn't a 200 ml of this available. Maybe they will launch a 200 ml in the future. But for notes, what we have are Calabrian, bergamot, Mandarin. Heart notes: lavender, Sichuan pepper, nutmeg. Base notes: Ambroxan, vanilla, Ceylonese, sandalwood, Tonka bean, patchouli. So for me, this once again is an Ambroxan bomb, and it's interesting now. Very, very similar to the Chanel Bleu de Chanel series when they had the EDT, then the EDP, and then the pure perfume. Once again, I'm favoring the EDP over the pure perfume. I felt like this was so subdued as an experience for me. It doesn't project much. It's more of a skin scent, plus longevity is not that good. I felt like I was favoring this one over this one. This one actually also seems like just a tamer version of the original rather than the EDP. The EDP has some unique twists to the fragrance because of that licoricey kind of note in here. It does smell a little more like a Fougere than this one does, even though they're all considered Oriental Fougere fragrances. But for this one, it's mostly about that Calabrian bergamot at the top. You get a lot of juicy bergamot. It's refreshing, it's fresh, it's big. The cloud is not as massive as this one. This is a big abrasive cloud. This one is a bit subdued, but not as subdued as this one. This one is really subdued. It's really close to the skin. This one has a little bit of projection. In the heart, I don't pick up any lavender with this one. It's so blended that it's hidden under nutmeg, perhaps. I don't know what it is that I'm not picking up a lot of heart notes. Sichuan peppers, not necessarily too much there. The lavender, I hardly pick up at all. Nutmeg, once again, I don't pick up at all. It's kind of like when you mix those spices together, you just get the combo of all three together. So whatever that's supposed to smell like, a little bit of lavender, a little bit of Sichuan pepper and nutmeg, I guess. That's what I get. Because at the top, the Calabrian bergamot is creeping into the heart notes. What I get mostly with this one is that Ambroxan with hints of vanilla. Vanilla is not big. None of these notes are big to me. It's just mostly about the bergamot and the Ambroxan. It does have that dry down of sandalwood. maybe perhaps a little bit of the patchouli and the tonka bean. None of those are very, very prominent to me. It seems like they're there to enhance that Ambroxan with the Calabrian bergamot. I'm thinking this one gives me anywhere from 4.5 hours to 5.5 hours of performance. It's not necessarily, I mean, for me, pure perfumes tend to generally be closer to the skin anyway. They don't have much projection. Now that's not always. In this case it is. And of course, to me, pure perfume editions of fragrances are a lot more interesting than this. This is not interesting at all. In fact, the series is not very interesting, but I do love my EDP. It's just a pure perfume version of a fragrance like this just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, why do they even bother? When they already have a successful fragrance here, go with it. Do something in it. Or make it completely different so that we can at least experience some unique twist to the fragrance, because there's no twist here whatsoever. Just, it's a pure perfume edition of the very popular Sauvage. I mean, do we need it? We really do not. I mean, if you do not have this, but you have this or this, stick with them. I don't think you need this one at all. It doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. But maybe if you don't have any of these and you want something like this, maybe you might fall for this. It's interesting because when I was at a store recently, not necessarily for this one, I was smelling some fragrances and somebody came and said they were there with a friend and they were smelling the Sauvage series, and they said, oh my god, that's so strong. And I think they were smelling the EDP because they hadn't put out the Parfum version yet, or Parfum, and it was like, it's not that strong, but I guess I can see it being that big massive cloud. In fact, I think the Sauvage EDT has the most massive cloud. The big sillage, the trail, is really, really big with the original. That's why sometimes it might come off really, really hefty and abrasive to some people, like really like bother them. In fact, it bothered me when I first smelled it. I felt like it was I felt like it was a little too much, too intense, even for this kind of a fresh fragrance. Now it is a crowd pleaser, and I think it becomes more of a crowd pleaser when it's blended with your body chemistry and somebody smells you. I think that's when it smells great, but initially when you first spray it, it's massive, it's big. That's why I'm favoring the EDP. I like it. It's a bit of both. Once again, very, very similar to Chanel's Bleu de Chanel. If you have this one or the other, don't go with this one. I don't think you're gonna like it. Again, I think if you don't have any of these, you might fall for this one. Then again, the price point is different. You're going for $95 for 100 ml of this, $120 for the EDP, $150 for the Parfum, the pure perfume. So you've got to do the math and see if you have enough money. You can go with whichever one you want. Now this is so brand new, there are no discounts available. For the EDT and EDP, there are discounts online. And as I was saying, they do have the 200 ml bottles of both the EDT and the EDP. And I'm sure near in the future they will have the larger bottles. So it's a better deal to get the larger bottle because EDP is 120 for the 100 ml. The 200 ml is 170. It's less than half. So you're getting double the juice for less money, and when you find it at the discounter, you can even probably get it for less. I'm assuming this one at the discounter could be as low as 120, 130 for a 200 ml, which is actually even less than this. So do some shopping and see what it is. But then again, you might just fall for this and say, okay, it's much better than the EDP or the EDT, and you can get this as well. So I recommend you try it, get some samples or something, or go sample it at a store. I think these are making their way across the stores. Macy's might be putting them out soon. I see them online. Sephora might be putting them out soon as well. I see them online there. So maybe they're in the stores, and go check them out. Sephora definitely, since this is part of Sephora's parent company, LVMH, DIOR. So they're kind of probably working together to like get this out and make a ton of money, because this is mostly a cash cow to me. It's not needed. It's not anything different. As I was saying, you don't need a pure perfume version of Sauvage. It does not make sense to me whatsoever. The fragrance is very similar, just more subdued version of that. So why bother? Why bother getting a pure perfume version of this when these two are pretty close? In fact, if this if this was just all on its own, these two didn't exist, it would be fine too. I'm favoring the EDP, as I said. There you have it. That's my info for you and my review for the pure perfume version. Test it out, see if you like it, and get it if you want it. But for me, the most unique out of them all is the EDP. I really like this one. I do wear it at the gym and whenever I don't want something overwhelming and too attention getting. Anyway guys, let me know your thoughts on the new DIOR SAUVAGE Parfum. Did you have it? Did you buy it? Are you curious to sample it? Are you excited about this release, or do you think it's an unnecessary release? Please let me know. Put some comments down so I find out. Other than that, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.